Hello, and welcome to Business Focus, produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. My name is Angela Inzerillo of Bsiness Solutions, and I'm privileged to be your host as we highlight some of the great work our local businesses are doing in our community. Today, I'll be talking to the chairs of the Chamber's YP, Young Professionals Committee, Colin May and McNerney. I'll also be speaking with the Executive Director of Western Fairfax Christian Ministries, Ms. Harmonie Taddeo. And finally, one of our newer members, Miss Mary Pociask of Schooley Mitchell. Let's get started. Well, welcome. I'm very excited to kick off today's program with the co-chairs of the Reston Chamber's YP Council, Mr. Colin May with KME.digital and Kelly McNerney with FJY Financial. Welcome, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And gals.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, first of all, before we talk about this YP thing, you youngins, why don't you share a little bit about your work, your company, and your role there? Kelly, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. So I am Kelly McNerney. I'm a financial advisor at FJY Financial in Reston, Virginia. I'm a certified financial planner, so a CFP professional, and have been with the firm about 7 years. We're a comprehensive fee-only registered investment advisory firm. So I spent a lot of time on the investment committee here. And also what I like most is training our new employees. So bringing in that next generation into the workforce and being a mentor to them.
I love it. The next generation. She's like 12, but that's great. No, that's awesome. Well, welcome.
Killing it. Doing a great job.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. How long have you guys been members of the chamber? Because I've seen you around for a while.
Yeah, we've been members a little over 10 years. Me personally, I've been on the YP Council for almost 5 years now, going into my 5th year.
Wow. Oh, good. Well, I'm excited to talk more about it. So, Colin, take a second. So tell us about you and KME.
Sure. Colin May with KME.digital. I'm the Director of Business Development there. I got started with KME back in 2014. I was trusted as one of the first rounds of interns that came through the company. And since that time, I've grown up a bit. I held different positions from, acting as pure backfill and implementing, digital marketing strategies to now my current role, which is the business development side. So I'm identifying those strategies with our prospects and working with them on a plan to implement, those strategies. So.
Well, I don't know how you have time to work because you're doing so many things at the chamber. I'm always seeing your face. So, you're very active in and believe me, it's my as well, but it's a great way to build your business and build your reputation, right? And kind of your career. So that's
Absolutely.
Great. All right. So why don't you guys start off and tell us what this YP Council is, or now it's considered a council, not a committee.
Yeah, absolutely. So the mission of the YP Council is to cultivate the next generation of business professionals in Reston. We do that through networking, education, mentoring, and philanthropy opportunities.
And was that the main goals when you guys decided to join, or why did you each decide to join the committee or council? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll go. I think a few different reasons. One, I'm not from the area, so I moved here after I graduated from college, started my job, and was networking within the financial planning industry. A lot of those professionals were an older generation, and I wanted to meet more people my age in different industries. I also didn't know anyone when I moved down here, so I wanted a way to make friends. And since I've joined the council, I've been creating friendships that are even more than just professional relationships now. So it was a great way for me to meet people personally, a great way to improve my career professionally and get that networking and leadership responsibilities and opportunities through a different avenue than just my industry.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, even myself, when I first joined the chamber, I remember being, it's all business. And now it's like friendships and community, and it's just a different level of, and of course now there's more business. So yeah, I think you're on the right path. So Colin, what attracted you to the YPs?
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of those things that Kelly stated, those are great benefits that come along with the YP Council. When we first joined the chamber about 4 years ago, the YP Council was one of the first, kind of networking pieces of the chamber that we engaged in. And it was awesome because, we have a pretty young team. It was an opportunity for us to, network with other like-minded, young professionals and, come into contact with some more seasoned professionals that, have experience or willing to pass on lessons learned and lessons applied. It's not just cut off at 30 and under. I mean, we want to gain experience from those who have been in our position and have grown up, through their, in their companies and learn. So, it was just a no-brainer for us. So
that makes a lot of sense. And, and you're right. It's not like it's limited to, just the young 30 and under, whatever you want to call young professional these days. So it's nice that you interact. And I've been a part of, several panels to talk about career experience. And, obviously I own my own business and I'm a woman. I've got a background, career background for a few more decades than you guys. But anyway, so you talked about the mission, Colin, and I like the way you outlined like what you guys try to focus on each year. We're going to talk about the events, but you got to tell me, like, how did COVID impact last year? Because a lot of your events are, around getting together, right? And being, I'm assuming that being impacted by COVID and social distancing and doing everything virtually had impacted you guys.
Yeah. So we plan out an event about every quarter. So obviously with COVID, and the social distancing precautions that we needed to take, and we moved into a virtual environment. I'm very proud of our council and like the leadership team that we have on the YP Council, and staying engaged and being able to, think of new ways that we can pivot in the virtual environment to continue providing value in each of those four cornerstones of networking, philanthropy, education, and mentoring. So, we were definitely impacted in our ability to have those in-person events, but I think it was also an opportunity for us to rethink how we were going about them, and making sure that we were still delivering for those who were engaged on our council.
Well, I think that every word that I use on these shows when I talk to business owners, it's about transitioning and pivoting. So you guys had to do it as well. And I think, and hopefully you engage even more people because some of the virtual opportunities allowed people for not in the area. So Kelly, I know you got a big schedule coming up for 2021. Do you want to share kind of what your plans or events are for 2021? I know you're doing anything virtually at the beginning, but are you planning anything for kind of a combo later on?
Yeah, we're hoping to get back to in-person events. One thing Colin and I have started to do as leadership of the council is we have our monthly meetings the third Thursday of every month. Mm-hmm. And historically, they've been at the chamber, very productive meetings. And recently, the last year or so, we wanted to spice things up, and we were going to a different chamber restaurant to meet in person there, have our meeting, do the business, and also have fun while supporting a local restaurant in the area. So hoping to get back to doing some of that. Our first event of the year, we're going to kick off with goal setting and avoiding burnout. So that will be February 24th, virtually over lunchtime. It's on the website if you want to learn more information about that. And then moving on to more quarterly events. So we have mentor matchmaking, which is going to be a really cool event, trying to bring some college students in the area involved in the chamber and give them a taste for what this means, and hopefully gain some attraction to them for after they graduate. We also will be doing a social media training, and especially during COVID, how have some companies really adapted and have some unique tips and tricks for the rest of the chamber members. And then the event I'm looking most forward to is something that we're going to do the fourth quarter of the year. And our leadership team is stacked with some professional and personal finance professions there. So we want to have some sort of workshop around personal finance and having investments and tax planning and cash flow planning, debt management, and really bringing all the expertise into one room for people to network and learn some tips that they can apply to their own self personally.
Wow, sounds awesome. Sounds like a great lineup. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for that mentorship. So I'll look for emails, but let me know how I can get involved because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be really good. So as we wrap up, I always tell everyone that the time goes by so fast, but I would love for you to share, like, how could someone find out more about the YP Council? I'm assuming the Chamber's website, Colin?
Absolutely. Yeah. The Chamber's website is a phenomenal resource. If they go to the YP Council on the website, both Kelly and I's contact information is there, so they can reach out to us directly. And there'll be a number of events being published over the next few months. And our monthly council meetings run on the third Thursday of every month, 4:30 p.m. All virtual at this point, but hoping to move into in person when the time is right.
Yeah, I know those meetings are probably still packed with a drink in hand, maybe. You guys all toasty planning and then drinking. Well, anyway. Well, first of all, it was really great to see you guys. I'm really glad you were able to join me today and share what the YP Council is doing, who you guys are personally. I love learning more about you, and I really look forward to seeing you again soon in person and giving some true hugs. So you guys have a great day, and thanks again for joining me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
thanks Angela.
So for my next guest, I want to welcome Ms. Harmonie Taddeo, the Executive Director from Western Fairfax Christian Ministries. I practiced that, Harmonie, so that's enough.
Thanks for having me, Angela.
Welcome. It is so nice to meet you. I'm so glad. We haven't met in person yet, but I look forward to that soon.
Yes.
So so I don't know much about Western Fairfax Christian Ministries, which is WFCM for short. But can you tell us a little bit how you guys got started and who you serve?
Yes. So Western Fairfax Christian Ministries was started 34 years ago by 12 churches. And basically these churches were in Centerville and Chantilly, and they saw a need to work together to serve those in need in the community. And it started with boxes of food and passing around lists of individuals, moved into Keener Insurance Company's basement, and then grew into its own nonprofit organization, which we still partner with those 12 churches that formed us to serve the community, but they use us basically as an arm to their organization where we're separate and we can serve and do serve all people in need in the community, but we do vetting and we can keep a database, and basically we encourage them to send people in need when they come to the churches and to the schools and all different other types of organizations that would come into contact with someone in need, to send them our way so that we can provide them with food and financial support.
That's amazing. That's fabulous. I love it. I love to hear these great stories. So what about you? You've been there 2 years. So what's your background and how did you come to lead this group?
Yeah, I'm so fortunate to be part of this organization. My undergraduate degree is in social work. And when I graduated from James Madison, I then actually kind of took a turn and I started working in the credit union industry for about 20 years. And during that time, I had a variety of roles, but I earned my MBA with a focus in marketing and communications. And my most recent role, I was working as the Vice President of Marketing and Communications at Northwest Federal Credit Union. And I really, when I took that job, said it was going to be a different kind of marketing, causal marketing, the kind of thing where you say, sign up for e-statements and we donate $1 to the ATC.
Yeah.
And I was able to really, with the support of their leadership, grow their program for corporate philanthropy and volunteerism. And I personally started volunteering with WFCM and joined a committee with them and just really loved the work that they were doing. And it resonated with me because I have 2 sons now in high school and middle school. And I thought, I just can't imagine with how hungry they are after, a day at school or with sports, coming home and not having food in the cabinet to offer for them. Yeah. And so when the position became available at WFCM, I really prayed about it and then I jumped for it because I thought it was just such a great way to have an impact in the community.
Sounds like a perfect fit as well. I mean, your passion just shines through and it's really, really great story to hear. When I was doing a little bit of research, I was really amazed to hear about some of the statistics, and the needs in Fairfax County. So, maybe you can share some of the latest stats that you have for our viewers so people can really understand what's happening.
Yes, I mean, while Fairfax County has such amazing wealth, and we always say that thanks be to God, the generosity, matches the need, because there are so many people who are doing well, and even in this pandemic, and we literally will receive stimulus checks that people have gotten. They just redirect them right to our operation and say, use this money to pay the rent for someone else. I don't need it. But there is poverty in Fairfax County. And specifically, we focus on Western Fairfax County. So within the full county, we have a wonderful program with neighborhood and community services, and kind of the county divides up the nonprofits amongst the different regions so that we can have an impact close to where people live, because as we know, transportation is a barrier. And so we serve primarily Centerville and Chantilly and the surrounding areas. So just to give you some 2019 statistics, in Centerville and Chantilly, there were just over 6,000 people living in poverty. And for us, we define poverty and the clients that we serve as earning no more than 200% of the federal poverty income guidelines. What this means is it's about no more than $53,000 for a family of four, but 89% of our clients earn no more than 125% of FPIG, which is only $33,000.
Yeah.
So really, the struggle is there, whether it's because they are on a fixed income due to disability or Social Security, or they're having a crisis and it's a temporary setback in terms of lack of employment, which we're seeing a lot now. And then there's a lot of our clients who are perpetually underemployed. So they're earning very low wages as cafeteria workers, bus drivers, positions such as that. And so by us being able to provide financial assistance and food assistance, it helps them to stay housed and fed while they're working their way, hopefully, out of poverty.
To a better situation. Right. Well, you guys are doing, like I said, just great work. And you couldn't do it alone. And again, you go to your website and you see some amazing pages of partners. So, who do you partner with to do the work together? Because it seems like there's some real synergies with some of these organizations.
Definitely. We believe in the collective impact model. So we work with local government, Fairfax County. We were very fortunate to be a recipient of CARES Act funds that came from the federal government to the state to Fairfax County. And that was about $1 million, $950,000 of which went directly back out into the community in rent and food. We're about to get another over $1 million from the next program called Emergency Rent Assistance, which again, 95% of that will go directly back out in rent and utility assistance for our community, which tells you the needs and how great they are. We also partner with over 30 local churches. We partner with grocery stores such as Wegmans. We partner with small businesses, a lot of health insurance companies, Optima, Anthem, and they come through as sponsors and unrestricted funds to help us to keep our lights on while we're keeping the lights on for our residents. But also they come through with grants. We've had several grants we call Healthy at Home, where those funds are restricted directly for rent for people who are in poverty but not covered by the financial aid of the government because it's not directly related to COVID. For example, they were already in poverty on Social Security income, so they don't qualify for some of these other programs, but they still need the regular rent assistance. So these partnerships is really the only way that we're able to operate and serve the community.
Well, amazing. And a lot of these folks are members of the chamber, the members of the community. And since we have the attention of the chamber members and the community, and, as we wrap up here, and I always say the time goes by fast, but, how can people get involved? How can the community help and be a part of what your services are?
Well, certainly I would love to see people get involved and share of their time, talent, and treasure. We have regular volunteers. We have only 7 on staff. We have about 90 volunteers who volunteer with us on a weekly basis, bagging groceries, answering phone calls, stocking our shelves, picking up food from grocery stores that donate. So there's a lot of volunteer opportunities. There's also short-term volunteer opportunities when we have big food drives. A great opportunity for a business is to have a food drive. Give us a call and ask, what is your most needed item? And usually it'll be vegetable oil or something like that all the families want to cook with, and then have a food drive and get involved in that way. You can also obviously donate, like I mentioned. Unrestricted funds go a long way, but also specific grants to help with rent for people, with perishable food items such as milk and butter and eggs that we buy on a weekly basis. And then also just helping spread the word, right? So sharing kind of your talents, your social media platforms, letting people know that there is a need in Fairfax and different ways to plug in. So I think that I appreciate this opportunity to spread awareness and talk to you to let people know that there are these issues in our county, but then there's also solutions, and working together we can meet the needs.
Well, I'm so glad to have met you. I do look forward to meeting you in person, but I'm excited that we were able to make more people aware of the great work that you're doing. And we'll, have your website pop up, and people hopefully can reach out and help in those different areas. So Harmonie, thank you for being here. I appreciate your time, and it's great to have met you. And like I said, I look forward to seeing you sometime in person soon.
Thank you so much, Angela. I really look forward to being able to give you a tour of our pantry and talk more.
That'd be great. My pleasure. Take care.
You too. Stay safe.
Bye. And for my next guest, I am so excited to welcome Miss Mary Pociask with Schooley Mitchell. Mary, it is great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Well, thanks, Angela. It's great to see you too.
I know. I wish I could give you a hug in person, but we are almost there.
Yeah, almost.
So listen, I've known you now for like almost a year when you joined the chamber, but I really don't know much about your background. So can you kind of share a little bit about your background and why you chose to work with an organization like Schooley Mitchell?
Sure. I had a long career working for a large telecommunications company in the areas of finance and marketing. And I ran several marketing programs for small businesses and learned that keeping expenses as low as possible without impacting the program was effective in achieving high ROI, especially when you can't always meet your sales objectives.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So and then I also developed offers and promotions for the telecom services. So you know how complicated those can be.
Yeah.
So I really do know the ins and outs. I know that they change frequently. And so when this opportunity presented itself, it just made sense. I could use my skills and knowledge and the tools that Schooley Mitchell offers to help businesses excel.
Yeah, it sounds like just a natural fit for your background and what you enjoy to do, and how you can help businesses. So what exactly do you do?
Sure. Well, I'm a vendor watchdog. Simply put,
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a great name for it. Yeah.
So simply put, I help businesses improve their efficiencies and profitability without impacting operations. Or like I tell my clients, I find additional profits without additional sales. So our core services are pretty simple. We analyze the business expenses to save companies time and money. And we do three basic things. We look for billing errors. You'd be surprised how many times we find those.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And then secondly, we examine the entire marketplace. So we know all the different offers that are out there. And we also have 23,000 other business clients. So we know what other businesses are paying. And third, we negotiate with the vendors, and we have great relationships with vendors, and we negotiate all the time. So we can usually get pretty good deals. And the two really great things about our services is we're independent. We don't sell any of these services, and we're always looking out for our client. And then secondly, our fees are self-funded by the savings. And if there are no savings, there are no fees. And it's that simple.
Oh, we like that. Yeah. Business owners, we don't know what we don't know, and
exactly.
The nice part about it is you can look at those key areas that everybody struggles with and, kind of advise accordingly. So that's great. And you can do it, a free audit and get that information to people. And, half the time you're saving them, and maybe half the time they're already optimized. So who is ideally your client?
Sure. So most businesses are too busy.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for that busy business owner.
Yeah, I'm saying that 10 times fast.
I know, that's 3 times fast. That wants to keep more of their hard-earned money. And so I can save most businesses, but 80% of the businesses are paying more for these services than they realize. But really, if they're spending over $1,000 a month on these services, I can really find significant savings.
Sure.
And, even if they're not, I consult with any business, happy to have a conversation and maybe even give some strategies of what they can do.
Yeah, I would imagine the more expenses you have, the larger your business, obviously, the more, in depth you can find overall.
Right. Right. So I do find that most businesses are too busy or don't have the time to manage,
Sure.
or they think they can do it themselves.
Oh, we know those types. I hope you're not one of those types. Not you. I'm talking to the camera. But
Right.
it's true,
Yeah, right. And so I was working with one client and COVID had hurt the business. So he had to cut back on his waste expenses and he reduced services and he saved 10%. But I started working with him. We actually found 30% more savings without reducing any more services, and he kept the same vendor.
Nice.
But there is an example.
No, very nice. And that's the key. You don't have to increase sales, but you're increasing the profitability. And those
Right.
are just things that, James and I do it every year. At the end of the year, we print out our statement and I go, James, what was this for? What was this for? We realize how much we spent at the ABC store that year and the pizza place. And so, yeah, it's really good to look at that. So listen, we met it through the chamber and I'm a big, Reston Chamber fan. And obviously this is produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. So you've been a member now, what, just a year?
Just a year. I joined right before the COVID shutdown in March of 2020. So my time was impeccable.
It was. So what was your strategy for joining?
I joined because I wanted to meet other business owners and I also wanted to get more involved in the community. And when I was looking at the different chambers, Reston just positioned themselves so strong. I mean, they're very supportive businesses and they're a strong presence in the community. So, and I found that throughout COVID, the chamber has just been so effective in keeping up the engagement and the way they pivoted to online. So it's just been a great experience.
Oh, that's super. And you're one who got involved. So that was actually smart to, kind of identify what could help your business, who you can meet. And the chamber was right there, for you. You did an audit for the chamber, right?
I did an audit for the chamber and you'd be happy to hear that they're optimized. We found no savings. We looked at telecommunications and the merchant services and we found no savings. So there were no fees, but we can all know that the chamber's making good use of their finances. So
excellent. Good to hear. Very good on the finance committee. And
kudos to them.
Exactly. The leadership and everything you're doing. Good job, Charles and team.
Yes.
So, hey, listen, as we wrap up, this time always goes by fast. So as we leave and a lot of business owners are watching, small, medium, and large. So what are some recommendations that you have for business owners to either help grow their business or do some savings like we're talking about here?
Sure. So the first thing I always tell any business is know your numbers and set realistic goals.
Yeah.
And most businesses know their profit, know their net income, but I also encourage them to establish relevant key drivers or key performance indicators, KPIs, to know what strategies work and what don't, because if you can't measure it, you can't change it.
Right. Absolutely.
So, the other one is to stay flexible. Outsource functions that aren't part of the core business. And I don't know what management guru said this years ago, but it's the phrase, stick to your knitting. Sometimes that's good because especially when, we're in a time of an economic slowdown, it makes companies far more flexible. And the other one is just don't be afraid to ask for help, get a business coach, because there are so many professionals in the community that can help other businesses reduce expenses in other areas, whether it's insurance, real estate. And so many professionals are just willing and able to do just a free consultation. And then don't burn your cash, know your expenses. That's always a big one too. And so one of the clients I work with had, he said, I have a great general manager and a great CFO. And he did. But in the end, we were able to find $60,000 of savings. Wow. So just knowing no one has time to go through 100 pages of bills.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's a good one. And then, finally get involved with the community and give back, because that is the best thing any business can do, and be part of the community. So
yeah, very much agreed. We talk about that all the time about being a part of the chamber. And, you said it yourself, there's other businesses in the chamber, and they're all willing to help and give back and support. And, again, tide raises all ships. So Mary, thank you so much for your time. I am, again, time always goes by so quickly, but I do appreciate you being here and sharing your knowledge and expertise and what you do with the community. So I hope to see you very soon.
Well, thanks, Angela. And it's been a pleasure talking to you. And hopefully we'll be back in person.
Yes. All right. You take
care.
One
day now. Thank you.
Very soon. Very soon. All right. See you soon.
Bye.